Welcome to CBC Windsor News at 6. I'm Meg Roberts. Thanks so much for spending part of your evening with us tonight. Excerpts of a manifesto is what the court heard today in the Nathaniel Veltman trial. He's accused of killing a Muslim family in London. We have updated details tonight. Plus, the city is implementing a new system so that members of the public can call 311 after hours when they notice someone who's in need. And artists from around the world are in Windsor to give the city a major splash of color. There's painting going on at 53 sites across the region. A Windsor jury hearing excerpts of a manifesto Nathaniel Veltman wrote. He was accused of killing a Muslim family in London 2 years ago. That trial happening here locally. The manifesto explaining his beliefs on nationalism and immigration. And just a warning, some viewers may find the evidence disturbing. Catherine Brulot has been following the trial. Catherine, I understand a document that was obtained from Veltman was shared at trial. It contains some of his thoughts. What can you tell us about what was in that document?
It was initially created in early May of 2021 by the accused. That's agreed between both the defense and the Crown in this case. And the title of the document is A White Awakening. And you said it, but I want to warn the public again that some of the content is disturbing and may be shocking to some viewers. In introduction, the accused wrote, and I quote, "Below are my political views," end of quote. He calls himself in the document a Christian and later on a white nationalist. He also expresses many derogatory views towards the Muslim community in particular, but immigrants in general. And again, he states, and I quote, "We must make life very uncomfortable for these people until they are driven out of our countries," end of quote. The judge in this case, Rennie Pomerantz, instructed the jury that they must not use this evidence to judge the character of the accused, that they cannot find him guilty because they do not agree with those views or they would like to punish those views. She told them that they must carefully and also dispassionately evaluate all of the evidence that is presented to them.
Catherine, can you share with us about who perhaps was influencing the accused based on some of the findings in that document?
We found out that other documents and other files were found on the electronic device found in the apartment of the accused. And they heard about, the jury heard today about some of those documents. About 4 months before he struck the Afzal family with his black pickup truck, he downloaded a video of a mass shooting in Christchurch, New Zealand. And the manifesto of the man responsible for that shooting, that's Brenton Tarrant, the manifesto was titled A Great Replacement. And video of another mass shooting in Norway in 2001 was also found on a portable drive in the apartment. I have to say, in its cross-examination, the defense in this case pointed out that a VPN and other application on the accused electronic devices could have been used to navigate the web in a way without leaving any trace. It was also pointed out that the website Convenient Eyes was viewed on his cell phone. This is a website that is often used to fight online addiction to pornography.
Well, thanks so much for that, Catherine. That's the CBC's Catherine Brulot reporting. A vigil is being held right now in Windsor to honor the lives of Indigenous women, girls, and gender-diverse people who have gone missing or have been murdered. Today is the National Day of Action. The vigil started at 5 p.m. at Dieppe Park with an opening prayer, followed by a moment of silence. This comes as Ottawa is poised to make a decision to search a Manitoba landfill for human remains. I spoke with an organizer earlier today about the local vigil as well as Ottawa's decision.
It's important that we mark the day by memorializing the sisters that we have lost and how far we have to go. This year it's especially poignant because of what is going on in Manitoba and Ottawa right now. And if I just may say my plug to the governments of Ottawa and Manitoba, search the landfills. Okay, if it was a politician's daughter or mother or wife, things might end up different, but it really boils down to like what type of society we want to be here in Canada. Do we want reconciliation? Because this is part of that process. It's time for the governments that to put their money where their mouth is and start listening to us.
How would you define the progress on the calls for justice from the National Inquiry's final report?
It's definitely slow, and I can tell that people are frustrated. I think, more and more people are talking about this every year, and that's, one of the reasons why we come out to events like this. We need people talking about this. We need non-Indigenous people to be our eyes and ears and to help with this. I mean, we're only a small minority in Canada and the United States, Indigenous people as a whole. We can't do this by ourselves. So is there progress? Yes. Is it slow? Yes. I think we're trending in a positive direction, but it will take some time.
A plan is moving ahead to get better help to vulnerable people outside of the city's 311 hours. Once staff goes home for the day, the plan is to forward any pressing calls to outreach workers. As Dale Molnar reports, it's an idea put forward by one of the city's standing committees today.
Currently, if someone sees a person in need, they can call 311 to get the person help. But 311 is only staffed Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. With the new system, if someone calls between 4 p.m. and midnight during the week and 10 a.m. and midnight on weekends, the call will be forwarded to outreach workers at Family Services.
What will happen is an individual calling after 4 p.m. will be able to select an option that will then connect them to our outreach worker who will be carrying a cell phone. What that will do is it will allow someone to receive a live answer to that phone call, with the exception if we're on another call or we're working to help someone, we've been dispatched, the caller will then go to voicemail, and then the outreach worker will call them back.
Zuck says workers will also be on duty at 7:30 a.m. during the week. She says they will triage the calls to decide whether the call should go to police or EMS. The plan was put forward by Councillor Ronaldo Agostino, who is on a committee that is recommending it to City Council.
What we decided today at the committee level is to really route everything to 311, which will give the public and the business owners and the people in the community an easier time to seek help for people who need help.
The good thing about using 311 is it's a central place where we can collect a lot of different data, but it's also an easier phone number for people to remember.
Both Zuck and Agostino say this won't end the homelessness problem in the city, but the executive director of the Downtown Windsor Community Cooperative says it's a step in the right direction.
And we need a lot of these steps to respond to changes that have happened over the last couple of years, so it's good news to hear this.
Other than a $2,000 cost to reconfigure the phone connection, there won't be a cost to the city. The city is also putting together an online request for service form as well. The new plan still needs council approval. That's expected to happen sometime this month. It will then be in place in about 30 days. It will be reviewed after 6 months to see how it's going. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
A massive 700-unit multi-building apartment complex is being planned for Windsor's East End. The developer wants to start building next year, but they'll need to scale back the current proposal to meet neighborhood expectations. The CBC's Chris Ensing reports.
This empty field is going to be the focus of a growing part of Windsor, a massive development with hundreds of housing units that have some neighbors on edge.
There's a certain sort of beauty in our area, and they just want to maintain that beauty and that quality of life. There was some concerns about, the well-being of the neighborhood as a result of this development.
This project will be multi-phased, starting with a pair of 10-story buildings at Banwell Road and McHugh Street, and a 2-story office building and single-story respite home off of McHugh. That same lot will have a 6-story and 8-story building during the second phase. And down the road, the developer wants to build another 5 apartment buildings off Banwell, each 6 stories in height. These projects will bring more than 700 units to the area. This builds on 230 units previously approved for other developers just east of this project. This week, the city's development committee grilled consultants about the project and heard from some of the potential neighbors, saying that routine rainstorms flood their basements, which they can't get insurance for. A consultant for the project told the committee the parking lot will help ease flooding, while city staff said Blue Heron Pond will retain storm water runoff. As for traffic, part of the solution is actually limiting the height of the buildings. The committee telling developers to scale back the project, hoping for a compromise by limiting the tallest building to 30 meters in height instead of 35.
So I think our job is to get into that area, get into that compromise, collaborate, work together, and just produce a better city.
With those instructions, the project will soon move to council. If it moves forward, shovels could be in the ground within 8 months. A consultant for the developer says the project likely takes a decade to finish and costs about $500 million. Chris Hensing, CBC News, Windsor.
A 3-week-old boil water advisory for Wheatley and Tilbury has been lifted. Chatham-Kent public health officials say it comes after water testing conducted this week. Around 8,500 residents were affected. The boil advisory was put in place after a fire at a Wheatley water treatment plant. They say it could take up to a year before it's fully operational again. Despite the advisory being lifted, officials are asking residents to continue to conserve water for non-essential uses. Mural artists from all over the world are in Windsor this week, and you won't be able to miss their work. They'll be painting at 53 sites across the city as part of Free for All Walls. It's a festival said to be the biggest public art project in the city's history.
We are super grateful and excited to be a part of all that. I think it's just amazing for any community to have public art, whether it be graffiti, murals. I think everything, the matchup of everything really creates a positive atmosphere, makes people more proud in their neighborhoods and stuff, and a lot of people really come up to us and thank us, and we're just happy to bring some color and vibrant energy to the area.
We're doing 53 locations. We're painting not 53 murals, but 53 spots, and with 65 artists from all around the world, friends of ours who have kindly and generously donated their time to this city to make it look better and make it feel better here. The cost, if we were to have to hire these guys and girls, it'd be about $1.3 million in artwork. We've raised the money that covers their costs of getting them here, their flights, hotels, all their paint, supplies, scissor lifts, and we're doing a bunch of events to say thank you to them, because it's truly an honorable gift.
It's something that a lot of other major cities have done, and by doing so, their communities and the areas that are painted actually flourish. I think people are going to wake up to go to work on October 13th and be like, where do I live? We're going from an auto city to a paint city to an art city. So get outside and come and check out all the cool stuff happening.
I'm starting from one.
I think it's amazing, and I'm hoping that more towns and cities in Ontario and throughout Canada will adopt this sort of festival where large mural work is done, because it's the best and least expensive community revitalization, hands down. Literally, they want to pave roads and bring in a Starbucks, but it doesn't change the community. Artwork shifts the ethos of a community.
Well, what a beautiful day it was. Those temperatures feeling like midsummer, but like all good things, that is coming to an end. We have your weather forecast coming up after the break. I know most of us are enjoying that hot weather we are experiencing so late in the year, but the conditions might have a big impact on fall milestones. Colette Kennedy went out to check on those changing leaves.
Given it's still t-shirt weather in October, you might be wondering how the unusually warm temperatures are having an effect on one of nature's most brilliant transitions, the changing of the leaves. And it can. And if a brief heat spell can have an impact on our seasons, what about a warming planet? Now, pinpointing the timing of the color's peak brilliance is literally a science. The depth of color, the length of time they last on the tree limbs have to do with light and temperature and moisture. So if you get even a rainstorm or a strong windstorm, it can pull those leaves off as well prematurely. If we get frost early in the season, that can make for more brilliant color, but warm autumn days tend to slow things down. Here's the quick breakdown. Chlorophyll is a pigment that gives leaves their green color. It's also a key player in photosynthesis because it allows trees to absorb light energy and convert it to sugar for fuel. There's so much of it during the summer that no other pigments can break through. But when the days shorten in autumn, it signals to trees to start conserving and shut down, and chlorophyll production slows. Those other pigments, the yellows, oranges, and reds, suddenly pop to life. The brighter the days are during fall, then the more sugar that's trapped. And so for certain trees, that usually means more vibrant colors. But we also need the nights to be cool to trap those sugars. So what does it all mean? Well, this warmth should delay the viewing season for the lower Great Lakes region. And all the sunshine generally should make some brighter and more intense colors, but not necessarily because the nights have been so mild. This isn't just about getting those great fall photos or those beautiful autumn drives. It's about the bigger picture and concern of climate change and a warming planet. We are coming off Earth's hottest summer ever, and there are some reports that suggest in the Northeast, the leaves are changing as much as a month later than they did in the 19th century. So that's a much shorter cycle. Scientists studying leaf transition at places like Columbia Climate School are looking at whether that shortened process could be having an impact on a tree's ability to extract the nutrients it needs, but also to get that winter rest it requires to thrive. It's estimated that our forests absorb 30% of our carbon dioxide emissions per year from the planet. So having healthy trees and healthy forests are very important to a warming planet.
Colette, you could have been a teacher. I feel like I'm an expert now on fall leaves. I do have to ask, what's in future for those leaves here in Windsor, Essex over the course of the next few days?
Yeah, and this is what it really seems like. Not necessarily province-wide, but for our region, for the lower Great Lakes regions, southwestern Ontario, and most of East, not quite all the way, that everything's just delayed somewhat and a little bit slower because of the warmth we've had. And just for everyone to understand, yes, it's very warm too. It's been very warm in northern Ontario, but earlier as the transitions were beginning, there were frost advisories there and some cooler nights. So that kind of got the process going for the trees there. So we're likely going to have a shorter viewing season, and it's just delayed a little bit. But I know it's started. It has started. And here we go. Boy, oh boy, the heat again. There were more records today, and really into eastern Ontario again today. Petawawa and Ottawa there with the temperatures 30 degrees or even a little bit warmer. And the current temperatures, those are still mild too. The humidity helps with that, kind of keeping some of this heat in, and just looking where that humidex value is. We're not going to be able to probably use this graphic. Well, maybe tomorrow. And then after that, I may have to kind of tuck it away till we get to next spring. We'll see. But things are definitely changing, and you can see it right here, illustrated so well by the temperatures behind the cold front. So rain out ahead of it, and then behind that front, that's where that coldest air will filter in. So we'll have kind of this gradual drop in the temperatures. It won't be right away, one day kind of thing, but you're definitely going to be noticing it. So there it is, some of the rain and also some of the thunderstorm activity, but definitely the cloud cover too, that is ahead of that front and tracking in our direction already. Some of this increasing cloudiness, although we'll likely see it breaking up through the overnight, becoming mostly clear again. It's into tomorrow that really thickens up. So we get into essentially just maybe some sunny breaks, and then we get into that rain coming in. And yes, that possibility of those thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, lingering overnight, and even into Friday morning. Now, behind it, there's still a lot of instability and chances of showers almost every day, well, every day through the holiday weekend. But Friday, we could also get some sunny breaks at times and more of just a few showers kind of here and there. So not a rain out. I just really want you to notice that I've put that chance of showers in every day all the way through to Thanksgiving Monday. And you also have got to take note of how these temperatures will be dropping. The low tonight's going to be 19. And look at some of those lows when we get into the weekend.
Colette, I know you can't see this, but I'm wearing shorts right now, and I'm thinking it's probably the last day of the season that I'm probably going to do that.
You could get away with it tomorrow, just to have the umbrella around with them, and then I think that's it.
Yeah, I think, tomorrow we're getting too far into October. Today was my last day. That's how it goes. Thanks so much for that, Colette.
You're welcome.
Hockey Canada has come up with a new policy for minor players. We have all the details on that coming up after the break. Some minor hockey parents may be surprised to hear about a new dressing room policy now in place from Hockey Canada. It affects all minor hockey players from the youngest level right up to the age of under 18.
It's very much about making sure that everybody feels comfortable in every dressing room. So there's some requirements called minimum attire, which is primarily that everybody should be arriving and covered in at least their base layer and leaving in at least same sort of level as well, so that everybody feels comfortable in the dressing room.
Players are being encouraged to wear their base layer of clothing to the arena instead of changing in the locker room. For those who don't, they're required to put it on inside a private washroom stall prior to gearing up. Hockey Canada says the policy is trying to promote inclusion, and the decision is based on respecting the privacy of players, gender identity, religious beliefs, and body image concerns. A group of young Canadian students are speaking Gaelic to the world. The kids in Cape Breton are giving voice to a new animated online series that introduces people to the language. CBC's Amy McNeil has more.
This is Talking Planet, a series that uses common Gaelic phrases which help people learn the language. There are 5 characters that teach, and those voices? Well, they are all children that go to Rankin School of the Narrows. One of them is Malcolm McKenzie, who plays Momo.
He takes a bath. He hates baths. He's a cat, so he hates baths.
Animator Caddy Catlow is the creator of the series. She says she always wanted to help children learn new languages.
This one's my pet project, I think. I mean, I've spent 25 years animating other people's stories, and, you know, you do your job and you invested in it. But I've just loved language ever since I was, 6 or 7. Just always wanted to do some language things, and this is the one project I did myself that is all my interests in one big package.
She says having videos like Talking Planet accessible, especially to children, helps promote and grow the Gaelic language. The series has even been shown worldwide, including at schools in Scotland. Theron O'Hanley's favorite part of playing Pip?
Lappy. I get to share it with my friends, and I get to share voices.
Teachers at the Rankin School helped match the voice actors to their characters. Their music room, which is also their Gaelic room, was transformed into a recording studio. That made the kids more comfortable recording their voices, even when they had to repeat their lines.
We were very excited that she wanted to feature our student voices in her now worldwide project. It really brings Cape Breton Gaelic and Gaelic from the Iona area to a worldwide stage, which is very nice in this new age Gaelic world.
Talking Planet is currently on YouTube, and a new series in Mi'kmaq is underway. Amy McNeil, CBC News, Iona.
Well, that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go to our website at cbc.ca/Windsor. Thanks so much for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you back here tomorrow night.